live with Skywalker Boxing Media, Team Mo Boxing, no problem. And we got a special guest today. We got Mark Habibi, owner of Fightbook and Wise Owl Boxing. How you doing, Mark?
I'm great. How you guys doing?
Doing great. This is my co-host, Papi Chuniello.
Papi Chuniello, heavy on the Papi, light on the yayo.
Hey, pleasure having you on, brother.
Appreciate it.
I see big things with Fightbook. You know, I've been promoting it. I've been sharing it with people to get registered.
Thank you for that.
I like your concept of matchmaking. You know, getting these fighters fights, making the work real easy. It can be very difficult with matchmaking. Can you tell us a little bit about Fightbook?
Yeah, so Fightbook is a centralized platform connecting fighters seeking activity with everybody involved in making a fight, whether you're a promoter, coach, manager, booking agent, whoever. It's just basically a platform for everybody to connect and transact.
That's good. So what actually, what's your background? What actually got you into the boxing aspect?
My background is real estate investments. I've been involved in boxing for the last couple of years, and my experience in the sport when it comes to managing guys that aren't represented by a promoter, you know, the burden of making the fights is on me, finding the opponents for my fighters, and that I just learned very quickly is a fragmented experience. It's a very inefficient process. There's not a whole lot of options out there. It's difficult to find what you like in the sense of an opponent for you know, your guy. And there's also I started to learn that there's no way for these fighters that are out there that are seeking activity to be proactive and have a platform to market themselves unless they're represented by somebody. And you know, the percentage of fighters that actually have representation is very slim. So learning about all the inefficiencies out there and the fact that fighters themselves don't have a way to be, you know, empowered to go and find themselves fights, I decided to launch Fightbook to, you know, help fighters get activity, basically, in a nutshell.
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
Brilliant. Yeah, that's brilliant.
We know a lot of people always hungry for fights, man, willing to travel. I had a friend that just went to Colombia to fight, you know, just to stay active. He fights out there in Colombia. And if we had a better system, man, a lot of these fighters wouldn't have to leave the country. You know, we can put, you know, have more fights. You know, promote it. This can benefit the promoters very well, man. You know, so
Absolutely. The challenges these days is that it's very difficult for promoters to make money on their shows. One of the main reasons is because of the cost of the opponents. A lot of times they're not finding local opponents, so they have to source them from overseas or across the country, which takes away from their bottom line. And, you know, they have to pay per diems and hotel expenses and flights and so on and so forth, which really compromises their bottom line and sometimes makes them lose money on shows. So we're hoping that them being able to source local opponents will reduce their travel expenses significantly, thus leading to more profitable shows, thus leading to more promoters having shows. So, and, you know, it's a win for the fighters because fighters, again, like I mentioned, I hate to keep using the word empowered, but this really empowers them to be proactive with their careers instead of sitting back, you know, hoping that somebody's going to find them, hoping that a booking agent's going to call them. They can log on, they can see what shows are coming up, and if they fit the criteria, they can actually apply to fight, you know, that guy that's scheduled to be on the show.
Right. And will the system have it to where the fighter can log in and look for fights?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. So the goal is, you know, right now the immediate goal is just getting fighters to pre-register. And the reason we're doing that is so once we do officially launch in the spring, we want to be able to start transacting immediately. But the other part of that is we're reaching out to promoters, and I'm specifically targeting California as a test market for right now. But we're reaching out to promoters to encourage them to put their fighter needs as well, to advertise them on the platform, which shows they have coming up. This way fighters can log on, they can see, and then if they see somebody that, you know, they fit the criteria of what that guy is looking for, you know, to as far as an opponent's concerned, they can, you know, apply to fight that guy. And I hate to use the word opponent because it sounds like it's B-side. I want to make it very clear that Fightbook is not geared towards opponent. It's geared towards anybody who's seeking activity. I don't care whether you're A-side or B-side. A lot of times an A-side can become a B-side if the opportunity arises. You know, you never know what's going to happen out there. There's a lot of fights that fall apart last minute. And if an opportunity comes up for one of these A-side guys to become a B-side guy to capitalize on an opportunity, you know, they should be able to. So when I use the word opponent, please don't make it think that, you know, I'm talking about B-side guys, because that's not what Fightbook is. It's for fighters that are seeking activity, period. Whether you're managed by somebody or not, it doesn't matter. And we can get more into like how, you know, those settings will work for people that have representation.
Yeah, that's exactly.
Before this interview started, we got Raheem in the chat. He runs the World Boxing Bureau. He runs a sanctioning body. He just had his first fight in Albany, New York, first sanctioned fight. With this system, he was asking, would the system be beneficial for him as well, trying to find fights for his sanctioning body?
Absolutely. I think, you know, where Fightbook may not necessarily be needed is at the very top, you know, the top guys where you're dealing with championship fights. You know, they're not going to be sourcing guys from Fightbook, I don't see, but definitely 4, 6, 8, and some 10 rounders definitely will benefit from Fightbook 100%.
Man, I'm actually pretty excited right now. You probably can't tell, but I'm definitely excited right now because
I love that.
On our channel, you know, every fighter that we interview, we talk about these things. You know, how are you marketing yourself? Do you have someone managing a page for you? How are you connecting with the audience? You know, we talk about those things. So can you maybe speak to the robustness of the app itself? Like, are there fight doctors that are attached to the app? How are you managing like the medical aspect? Like if somebody has a fight injury or whatever, how do you plan on, you know, dealing with that? I'm just trying to get into the actual app itself, the specifics.
Absolutely. Yeah, the app, I mean, I envision it doing so much. The goal right now, though, is just to launch it with the basics, and then we can add all the bells and whistles as we progress. You know, because I see this app also being a fighter management software where promoters, fighters, and managers can upload their contracts so they can have a dashboard of, you know, who they're fighting, key dates to remember, and get auto notifications when contracts are expiring, when medicals are expiring. They can upload their medicals there. You mentioned one thing before we started talking about this, though. I want to hit your point, but I forgot what it was, to be honest.
Oh, as far as the robustness and
yes. Okay, so it's imagine Instagram minus the food, minus the girls, minus the cars. Every fighter, and actually every person who registers on Fightbook, will get their own handle. They'll have their own page, so fighters can, you know, upload photos and videos of themselves. Eventually we're going to get to a live feed where they can, you know, express their desires to fight. They'll be able, it's a two-way platform where you'll have the traditional matchmaker or booking agent who's going to be able to search for fighters for specific cards, and then the opposite, which I just explained to you guys, how fighters will be able to get on there. So yeah, we're really excited about this platform. It should do great things, and it should change the sport.
Will there be a fee for the fighters and the matchmakers on the platform?
So once we launch this thing, we're going to be 100% free. There'll be zero charges for anybody, at least for the first year or 18 months. That's by design. We want to get people accustomed to exploring the app and to play with it and see if they see value in it. And if they find value in it and they start transacting on it and start using it, then eventually, you know, well, as we get more users, we can worry about monetizing it in the form of, you know, advertising revenue or a subscription-based model. But I really don't even want to think about that right now. I just want to focus on the immediate issue at hand, and it's just cleaning up and solving this problem, and hoping that the boxing community adopts this platform, sees the value in it, and then if so, then I'll worry about, you know, making money off this thing. Right now, I just want to see if I can figure out a way to solve this problem, and I'll worry about monetizing it later on.
Yeah, I
Hey,
heard you were giving away money to fighters for pre-registration, $25. I've been sharing it to a lot of fighters. I know quite a few, and yeah, man, I think that's awesome, man. That these fighters can get on there, get set. I went through the link and I checked out the features. You have the weight class, how much money are you expecting? It's all good questions in the app, man. That are very important, in the process of matchmaking. So you're simplifying it, man. It usually takes a lot of time to call someone, negotiate, maybe emails. That shit takes a long time. But
A long time. But you'll end up trading 30 or 40 texts before you get down to, the
yeah,
point where you even start negotiating, right? It's a tedious process right now. So this should streamline things and make things a whole lot more efficient and reduce the expenses, because how great would it be if a promoter could, put on a show where both sides, the blue corner and the red corner, are all local fighters, right? That'll reduce travel expenses significantly and boost ticket sales tremendously, because everybody will come out to watch it.
yeah.
When you
check
have
this out, right? This is gonna be different. Let's do something different. Let's put you in the driver's seat. All right. I'm Poppy Chun Yayo, heavy on the poppy, light on the yayo. I'm the boxer. This is my second. Let's say it's my second boxing match. Dang man, I went out there and got rid of that guy. Now I need somebody to fight. So you get an elevator speech to tell me why I need to go and sign up for your app so that I can be seen by a fighter. Let's go. On the clock.
Wait, what? You want?
Okay, so you giving me an elevator pitch.
Okay.
I'm the boxer. You're
Yes.
telling me why I want to come and join your app in order to make my. I want you to help me.
Listen, you have absolutely nothing to lose from joining this app. It's free. There's no contracts. You can cancel at any time. This is a platform that empowers you to be proactive, to take control of your career, to get out there and search for fights instead of letting fights search for you. So there's no reason why you should not join. And even if you have representation, if you have a manager or promoter, that's no problem. When you answer the onboarding questions, you're going to let us know if you have any representation. And if you do, they're going to be copied on all the correspondence that goes out, because they are your representatives. You can, as a fighter, you can customize your dashboard and your settings to see if you want to be copied on the correspondence, if you want to have your representatives handle all your correspondence. You can give them decision-making power to, execute agreements on your behalf. Really, you can custom tailor your profile and transact the way you want to. And if you don't have a representative, we will assign a representative to you. So if you want you have the option to represent yourself, to have nobody involved in your communication. And if you don't have a manager and you want to have a representative, we can assign one to you that will help you negotiate and, help you hold. I don't want to say hold your hand, but hold your hand until you get to the fight night. So, because there's the bottom line is this: there's no substitution for the human element involved in making a fight, right? Technology can only do so much. I've talked to a lot of matchmakers out there, and these guys all say the same thing. They're like, my job doesn't even start until the fight is made, and at that point, I gotta hold the guy's hand to upload their IDs, to make sure they're getting their medicals, to make sure they're on weight, to make sure they got their travel figured out. So the human element, there's no substitute for it. So I want to make it clear that Fightbook is not out there to replace anybody. We're just trying to bring all parties on one platform, so it just makes it easier for everybody to transact and streamlines the process. Period.
Can I get him one more time, Skywalker, real quick?
Go for it, man. Yeah.
All right, so I'm a fighter. I get punched in the head a lot. Maybe my numbers game ain't working, right? How? Okay, so scratch that. You already said that you got people that can handle that. How are this is a transactional thing, right? So how would a person be able to take care of the financial transactions through the app in a safe way? Because obviously there's a lot of money that goes with surrounding this.
Yeah.
They have the option. We could just make the deal via the app, and then these guys can transact like they normally do. Because let's fight it. Let's face it. Let's fight it. Let's face it. A lot of fights fall apart, right? You don't know if the fight's actually going to happen until it goes down. And a lot of people don't want to trade money until after the fight is complete. So if that's your prerogative, you can do that. We will provide an option to transact through Fightbook where the promoter can pay Fightbook and then Fightbook can pay the fighter eventually. But that's, we're going to act as an escrow in that case because we're not going to give the money to the fighter until the fight actually happens.
Right.
And I think that's something that, because too many fights fall apart, we don't know. We're not going to pay anybody in advance and then go chase money after them.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be the traditional way that it's being done right now. Nobody gets paid until the fight happens. So people will have the option to transact through our platform, or they can transact on their own. We're not charging anybody anything. So,
hey, Mark, I got a good suggestion for the app, and I know a lot of promoters like Jimmy Adams at Country Box. He calls me sometimes looking for fighters, and you need to have like an emergency section where fighters that are willing to fight, that are hungry for the fight,
last minute opponents.
That's exactly, man.
Absolutely.
And supporters always hit me up, man. And I'm not even a matchmaker, but I know a lot of fighters, so they always, they know that I'm in Albuquerque, or
That's a real problem. It's huge. And one of the ideas I have, and I need to figure out exactly how to structure it, but what I'm thinking is that fighters that can't afford to pay for their medicals, maybe Fightbook steps in and covers the cost of their medicals in exchange for something. And I haven't figured out in exchange for what yet, but we would need some sort of commitment from the fighter. You know, but yeah, but I think that's a brilliant idea to have standby last minute replacement fighters, because the worst thing is when your fighter goes through a training camp, he's cutting weight and it's 2 days out or a day before, and then the next thing you know, there's no fight because his opponent got injured or the visa didn't go through, or whatever. Shit happens all the time. But having last minute standby opponents is clutch and will save a lot of fights.
I wouldn't even make that section for free. I would have a little chart of costs, at least to cover it, because man, that's what the promoters, man, they're hungry for these fights, man. Chrissy Martin.
I mean, those last minute guys they're gonna want to be compensated because they're for the last minute. So again, I'm not trying to capitalize on any of this stuff right now. Just want to get people accustomed to using the platform and then take it from there, one step at a time. But
it's a great tool.
Yeah.
So will the app have like some sort of? Is there like I said, not everybody is not, they're not book smart, So there will be like 24/7 assistance provided for people to be able to maybe navigate through some sections, or if they're having technical difficulties and things like that.
Absolutely. Yep. We're going to be fully. It's just like any other platform that's out there. There'll be 24-hour assistance, and
So I know the focus is on matchmaking, and we know how BoxRec is, especially with the amateurs. They don't keep track of the fights, with this system. If it goes accordingly, you think you can go into another, expand this into something bigger, like as far as documenting it, kind of turning this into BoxRec?
So we're not trying to replace BoxRec. BoxRec has its role in the sport, and they do a great job at it. We're providing a different service, maybe some overlapping features, but really we want to stay in our lane, and we're not trying to interfere with what BoxRec does. But the reason we called it Fightbook is because we know that this same struggle exists across the board in all combat sports. If you go to the uploading page, you'll see there is a spot for MMA. Our focus right now, and eventually, we'll go to bare knuckle and all the combat sports. That's why we called it Fightbook and nothing geared specifically towards boxing. But the focus right now, the test market is boxing. The test state for the proof of concept is California. We want to saturate the California market in 2025. We're doing all the Golden Boy shows this year. All-Star Box. A bunch of promoters have already jumped on board and have welcomed us and allowing us to have a presence at their shows. So we're excited about that. But rather than spreading ourselves too thin and trying to take a nationwide approach, we're focusing on California to see if we can get some traction here. And then if this goes like I think it's going to and gets adopted, then we will go for the rest of the country. Concurrently, we're also establishing our roots in Mexico and Argentina and some other regions as well. And I think Fightbook could be a global company. I think it's got a great name, and that's our goal. But one step at a time. You need to crawl before you walk and walk before you run. So we're just being smart and taking it one day at a time, one step at a time.
Yeah, I would imagine that the complexity of this thing could probably get pretty overwhelming. You need a representative in each state because of different commissions and things like that.
Right.
So, let's just keep it on the bare bones skeletal type conversation. What would be like the bare minimum that a fighter would need or a promoter manager would need in order to sign up? I mean, do they have to have a professional license? Like what are the bare basics that they would need in order to do this?
So we're paying this $25 pre-registration fee through the end of January. Anybody can sign up, whether um, guys that want to make their pro debuts can sign up. The only people we're paying the pre-registration fee for right now is if you've had at least one professional fight and if you've fought in the last 5 years. If you fought in the last 5 years, you can register and you get that $25. Outside of that, anybody can sign up to register. So it's open.
Okay. So amateur fighters that are making their pro debut,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely, because we need those guys on the platform. And I reached out to USA Boxing today about sponsoring them. We want to provide the same service for amateurs as well,
Nice.
because the amateurs will eventually become pros, and so we want to get them accustomed to using the platform.
Right.
By the way, so when these handles that the fighters get, they can put links to any events any shows they got coming on for ticket sales. They could do links for their merchandise if they want to sell their merchandise. We really want to get fan engagement involved in Fightbook eventually. So eventually, we're probably going to open up the doors to let fans get handles, and then have that live feed and let them get involved as well, just to increase our total accessible market. But again, I've got all these ideas and all these things I want to do, and these tech guys that I'm working with, they're like, yo, slow down, get this thing launched, get it with the bare bones first, so you're not throwing a ton of money at this thing, and you can add all these things if the basic fundamentals work and this thing is picking up momentum and traction. And I agree. So I got to listen to these guys because they know this space better than I do. This is not my forte. I'm learning as I go in this.
Right. We got a question from the audience. They said, will there information about the varying commission rules in the app? He's talking about registering his commission on there, or
So I'm not quite sure I understand the question, but when it comes to the contract execution, so if the two parties agree to terms, depending on where the fight is going to take place, provided it's in the United States, let's say it's in Nevada, we'll have a template where the contract between the two parties can be executed, and it will be recognized by that athletic commission in the state of Nevada. And it'll vary from state to state because they have also, if a promoter wants to use their own contract and they don't want to use our template, they'll have the ability to upload their own contract and use that. And I'm not sure if I answered that question or not, but
oh yeah. I think you did. Yeah.
okay.
I'm the boxer. I got some video highlights, some clips that I want to post. Is there a section there for me to do that? So
Absolutely.
That
on your own
know
page.
me, you want to see some of my tape.
Oh, so you could put your clips of your style so other fighters can see what they're up against. Okay.
You can customize that page how you'd like to. You can include however much or how little information you want to include in there. Also, again, this is not just a tool for matchmaking; it's connecting. So if you want to find sparring partners or or coaches or sponsors, we're trying to. I got all these ideas, but we're just going to take it one step at a time.
Yeah, man, it sounds like you definitely got your ducks lined up. It seems like you got the USA Boxing in there, which is important because you got to start at where the foundation comes from and get some input from them and figure out how they can better transition their amateurs over to the pro. So I feel like, if that's your target audience, definitely getting with USA Boxing and figuring out, maybe what type of weaknesses or holes they have in their arena is definitely going to be able to help you, promote this thing, because this is something
I've been sharing it on Instagram. I think it's great, man. I think it's great what you're doing, and everybody keep sharing Fightbook, man. Get the word out there.
I appreciate it. Yeah, we also have the sanctioning bodies. I don't want to name which one specifically, but we do have one that is very gung ho about this and wants to be involved, and so hopefully we work something out here in the next few days. Maybe make an announcement in the next couple weeks.
So so let's say somebody has to be drug tested. Is that something that's a part of the app as well?
No, not yet, at least. If somebody needs to be drug tested, that's outside of our scope right now at the moment. The only thing we're really getting involved in is their medicals, and then we ask them in their onboarding questions if they have any suspensions or anything like that. But we will all cross-reference that information with BoxRec and
Are you
so on and so
accepting
forth.
sponsors?
Absolutely,
Right.
absolutely.
That's fantastic, because I mean I could totally see some pro se boxing, pro se such and so being a sponsor behind the app to maybe assist with some top cover, because from what I'm hearing it sounds like there's going to be a lot of overhead that would be associated with this, and definitely I understand there's always that trial market, and so I'm with it.
It's a risk. It's a calculated risk. Hopefully, it works out. At the same time, you asked the question if we would accept sponsorship. We are currently sponsoring as well. And if you're a promoter in California, you're putting on a boxing event, please reach out to us. Let us know. We're providing your ring card girls, provided they wear the Fightbook, outfits,
Yeah.
and then we're also monetizing, giving some money as well to and we'll co-promote. We'll promote your event as well. And if you guys reach out or send me a direct message, I'll give you guys more information on that if there's anybody listening that's interested.
Yeah, man, I heard somebody say they
I'm
wanted to be the
dropping your
book holder.
link.
Somebody
It's
said they wanted to be the ring holder for the Pro Box girls, right? You know what I'm saying? It might feel like there might be a position out there.
Yeah,
Wait, hold on.
right. Our Fightbook girls are definitely will compete with those Pro Box girls.
Hey, listen, some of us are here for it. You'll feel.
Hey,
I'm dropping your website in the chat, fightbook.com, and before the end of the month, there's $25 if you pre-register.
Yep, you guys got nothing to lose. Again, if you do have a manager, you can put their contact information there. Representative, we'll reach out to them. We won't bother you. So
nice.
Okay, so you're accepting. Well, let's say you're accepting leads.
I mean, as far as paying the pre-registration fee, no. But will we take leads? Absolutely. I think you know what? I take that back, because I want the fighters that are on our platform to want to fight, and I want to know that they're going to be proactive and respond to inquiries and so on and so forth. So I guess I really wouldn't be interested in leads. I want the fighter to take the first step and actually pre-register. That way we know that they're interested in being a part of this, and that they're engaged, and they're committed to this thing. And then if they take that first step, then we're going to reciprocate and do our best to help get them fights.
Got it. So here's my example for you, sir. Hey, I'm walking in the 757 boxing gym. Hey, coach, I got something for you. All those amateur guys you got over there that's been trying to go pro, you got them a fight already? Huh, ain't it hard to find somebody? Yeah, it's hard to find somebody. All right, well, check this out, right, man? Here's this link. My guy, Mark Habibi's doing something major, man. He's a partner with Terrence Bud Crawford. He's in charge of our man Charles Conwell, who's a killer, by the way, and he has an app that he's building, and we need to get your fighters to sign up for this. You got to do it quick, though, before the fees start kicking in. So get on board. We made the zone jump off. Let's make Mr. Mark Habibi's app jump off. Let's go.
Let's do it. I love that.
Hey, well, thank you, Mark. I'm gonna make a real nice. I do a lot of the editing for Mo Boxing for Jose, so I'm gonna make a real nice video so we can get the word out, man. I want people to register, and I like your vision, bro. I'm gonna support it, man, and I'm all about people getting fights, man, staying active, staying busy, and trying to reach the top of their career. So this app can definitely help you out.
Really appreciate you guys. I thank you for your time. Thank you for having me on.
Thank you, Mark. Appreciate you. Where
Appreciate
can everybody find you at, Mark?
We're at Fightbook, and the platform is fightbook.com, and I'm at the Mark Habibi. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Mark. Appreciate you.
Thanks for time.
Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.
All right, thank you.